Good evening and welcome back to West Talk. It's another Tuesday and we've got another great show for you today. I'm really happy to be here with you. Of course, fall is now a thing of the past. Halloween is over and it's cold. In fact, it's snowing out here today. So I don't know about you, but I'm starting to feel Christmassy. But not that Christmassy. We're going to come to you next month with some Christmas-related content, but I'll refrain and keep my excitement inside for now and keep it business as usual. And that means starting out this episode by introducing you to a fine book from a fine Newfoundland author. Today I have an exciting one that I look forward to stealing from the studio and reading myself. It's called The Viking Trail, Stories of the Great Northern Peninsula. Adrian Payne spent more than 50 years guiding and hunting on the Great Northern Peninsula. The Vikings, who came to the shores of Newfoundland in the 11th century, hunted caribou and trapped fur-bearing animals in this rugged, untamed wilderness. Generations later, outfitters like Adrian Payne believe they are walking in the footsteps of these legendary Norsemen, and here he pays homage to them with stories and adventure and daring rescues in the wild. This is a great book published by Flanker Press that you can find at your preferred book retailer near you in Newfoundland. Now, we have two great interviews for you today, one in studio and one on the line. Our guest in studio today is somebody we introduced you to and spoke to last season when he announced that he was endeavoring to produce and release his first independent solo music project. And at the time, he was just going into studio. And today, I'm very happy to have back my good friend Jamie Stone, who's going to update us on the recording project and the release, the exciting release, actually, that's happening this month right here in Corner Brook. So to talk more about the live event happening November 24th and the first music release on the 23rd, welcome back, my man, Jamie Stone.
Good day, Dustin. Good day.
Jamie, can you believe that we had to do this little back and forth to realize that it's been like, 6 months basically now?
Yeah.
May 24th was the last episode that you were on.
Yes, sir.
And at that point, I think you were only just getting hooked up with Phil. Maybe you had gone into the studio?
Yeah, we had a plan. We had a plan set to go in the studio, but we never had a date. So back in June, we got in the studio, end of June, and we recorded 2 tunes. And that took about, a couple weeks. And now I've kind of just been waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting on the 2 tunes.
Yeah. Well, there's the waiting part, but then there's also like the coordination part, which I know you've been really busy with these last few weeks.
Yes.
You've had the finished product in your hand for a little while now, and now you've been focusing on how do you roll this out to the world, right? And you've been planning on doing a release show and all these types of things, which we can get into. But first, if you can, just summarize how it went. Like, how was that your first actual studio recording experience here with Phil and some of your friends who were playing on the album or on these tracks? Can you just explain what it felt like, I guess, to go in there and have to do this?
Yeah, it was a very good feeling going into the studio with 2 tunes that you kind of just had the bare bones of. And getting together with Phil. Phil gave me a lot of guidance on my first time recording. And I had a plan in mind for the first tune, Daisy Chain, and we kind of stuck to that. But the second tune, the one that's being released on the 23rd, Color of You, he really shaped the way that one ended up sounding, and it really gave me a lot of insight on the power of a producer when you have another set of ears sitting there listening to what you wrote and how you might be able to change it for the better of the music,
Yeah, it must have been a good insight. I mean, we hear of these big producers in the music industry and stuff, and you have to wonder sometimes, like, what are they even doing? Like, they're not even, sometimes the producer isn't really the engineer or anything like that, and sometimes not musicians themselves. Yet it's how they get their fingers in, and I guess how they end up guiding the musicians to pull the best out of their songs.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like he took one listen to it when we first were jamming it, and he knew exactly how it was going to sound right from there. And he had this brilliant idea of joining these 2 opposing songs, we'll say, together as one. So the whole project that we done was actually 2 tunes that were transitioned together. But I'm releasing both of these tunes separately. But the music video will be in full.
Yeah. So on the first song, the first time that people are going to get to actually hear a full track related to this recording is going to be November 23rd, when The Color of You, the song you just mentioned, recorded here in Corner Brook, is going to be available on all the major streaming platforms for everybody in the world to go and listen to.
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
That makes me feel great. All this time, you know, I got a bunch of songs written.
Yeah,
but
so many.
These two in particular, for my first recording project, I just can't wait to get them out there for people to finally hear what I've been working on for what feels like forever.
At this point now, you must have quite a catalog of original, full lyrics, you know, music that's put together. So how do you narrow that down with this opportunity and pick just two songs? Like, what is it about these two tracks that really you knew these had to be the ones that need to get laid down?
I didn't really know that those were going to be the two. So, like I said, Phil joined us in a jam one time, and I played Daisy Chain. Yeah. And then we started playing the other tune, or what I had written at the time. And he just thought that those two should go together. And that's kind of how.
So, did you, in that phase, like, was there a couple songs that you were jamming, a few of your different originals that you went through with everybody to narrow it down?
Yeah, I had 4 or 5 picked out, and those two seemed to be the ones that jumped off the page. Yeah. You know. Yeah. And so we got in the studio, we got them recorded, and finally getting them out.
Nice. And so what's also exciting is you're going to be celebrating, I guess, or commemorating this big release for you with a live performance right here in Corner Brook, November 24th, at a venue you've spent a lot of time at over the last few years now, at the Hue and Draw Hotel, the Best Coast Restaurant and Boomstick Tap Room. Why did you decide to do your release show there versus some other place?
Well, I felt like there is the perfect mix. You know, you can have a bite to eat, you can get a drink, but you can also sit down and you can listen to the tunes. Where some other venues are kind of either strictly either or, like you could do it in a theater, but then you don't get that same atmosphere. Right. So I figured that kind of just to serve the event.
You must be pretty comfortable in that room now after performing there a lot over the last few years.
Yeah. That is one of my favorite rooms. Is just the atmosphere of the whole place. You got the fireplace in the back corner, you know, and you got the brewery behind you. Yeah. You can see everything. Just like it there.
Now, I know already there's people listening to this right now, right now tonight, and they've just heard about this show, so now they're jumping online and saying, oh my goodness, I need to get one of the tables, because there's only a few tables available to people to come and be part of this basically historic moment, right? Yeah. To me and to any music lover in Western Newfoundland, you only get one opportunity to go out and see an artist for his first time, unveil his full, his original works in this way. So it's going to be a cool time capsule. And so for the people who are looking to buy tickets for this now, how do you have this set up, and what's the best way for them to be able to get included on this show?
Yeah, so due to technical difficulties with some third-party sellers for tickets, I ended up just making an event on Facebook myself, and I'm going to handle all the tickets. Yeah. You can go to my page, Jamie Stone Music, and there's an event pinned to the top, and you can just direct message me, or I have a number there that you can call or text, and you can reserve a table or a bar seat. The bar seats can be bought as singles.
Right, and just to I guess to make this the most efficient flow as possible, you're selling it, it's basically $20 a head, and you pay by the table though, right? So if somebody wants a table of 4, it's $80, and that's it. They fill the table out themselves, right? Which is how most shows go at in that venue, from my experience anyway.
There's 5 tables of 4 left.
That's it?
I believe,
and some
10 bar seats.
Okay, so don't waste your time. You can pause this episode right now if you want to, hopefully, and just go grab those tickets right now. Okay, back to the interview. So now that we just sold your last 5 tables, so let's talk a little bit about what the show is going to be like, because it's not just a solo performance. A lot of people who have seen you play in this very room are used to just seeing it's a one-man show with you up there entertaining this full restaurant. This time it's going to be a little different, so tell us what this show is going to consist of, who's going to be there, what's going on.
Yeah, so for this show I have a band. The bands consist of Noah Hamilton, Scott Shepard, and Paul Harris, and myself.
Yeah.
And Phil Churchill is also going to jump in at the end for a little special treat.
Cool.
And yeah, so I have a little show planned on up. I won't reveal it yet.
Right.
But Noah Hamilton will be the opener.
Cool.
He's going to play a few tunes before I pick up the guitar.
How is it that you managed to get like all the greatest players in Western Newfoundland to support you in this project? Is it just because you're so sweet?
I don't know. I honestly don't. It is difficult to find people who will help you out.
Yeah.
And these guys are amazing, and I'm forever grateful for them.
Yeah, really, some of the most talented people that I know of in this area musically.
And also, without Music NL allowing me this grant for the artist development grant, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. So shout out to Music NL as well.
That's a very wise thing to remember to shout out, because that is really I've known you for a while. I know you had this desire for a long time, right? But like most musicians, you've got a life and a family and a house, and maybe you can't always go out and justify some studio recording time. So it's awesome to see, first of all, people over here in Western Newfoundland receive these grants, and then it's also awesome to see people maximize every penny of that grant and squeeze as much life out of it as possible, which I know you have.
That is, that was the plan coming into this, was try to get the most out of what I received. Yeah. And I believe that we've done that. Yeah. We've achieved that goal.
From what I've seen so far, I think so. And we've got just a second left of this interview. Why is it that your voice sounds so trash right now?
I believe my whole family last week got influenza.
Okay, so it hasn't just been from like crazy rehearsal?
No, I wish. That would be ideal, but no. So yeah, hopefully now I got 10 days or so to get on the mend, so.
Okay, man.
We'll be all right.
Yeah, don't stress. That's enough time to fully recover, I'm sure.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, and if not, just know it's going to have to do some heavier lifting on the
Yeah, he already got me beat on that, so.
And anything you want to say just to the viewers, to the Western Newfoundland fam who watches us every week? Any invite you might want to extend to them?
I invite anybody to go on my page, Jamie Stone Music, and just check out what I've been posting. I got the color review coming out on November 23rd, and I hope everyone has a listen to it, and I hope that you guys like it, and I appreciate the support. Thank you.
Jamie, thank you so much for coming down here today. I know you're not feeling the greatest, but I really do appreciate it.
My pleasure, man. Thank you.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with our next guest on the line all the way from Woody Point. Stay tuned. Okay, and we're back. Now, I promised I'll avoid talking about Christmas for a little bit, but I cannot avoid talking about winter. That's it. As soon as the snow starts falling, I get stoked for skiing and outdoor activities. And so this season, I want to introduce you to somebody new, a different player in the winter in Western game. All the way from Woody Point right now, we have on the line Ryan Crocker from Mantle Board Shop. Ryan, how are you?
How's it going?
It's going good, man. Thanks for being with us. So just for our viewers at home, can you introduce yourself and where you're at and what's going on with Mantle Board Shop?
Absolutely. Well, like I said, my name is Ryan Crocker, and I'm located in Woody Point. And Mantle Board Shop is a backcountry touring shop focused on split boarding and snowboarding. We're located here in the heart of Grossmore National Park, and like I say, that's kind of what we focus on. And we do backcountry tours, split boarding tours, and sled skiing tours, as well as snowmobile tours in the area as well.
This is very, very cool. So a lot of people have heard maybe about, backcountry skiing and snowboarding, but maybe didn't know that there was a fella like yourself here who's here and ready and willing to teach people whatever it is that they need to know about this. And so just on a high level, can you explain kind of the ins and outs a bit about backcountry skiing and snowboarding, and if you can introduce the split board as well, because a lot of people can visualize cross-country skiing up a hill and then skiing down it, but for the snowboarders out there, just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the sport split boarding seems to really be growing here the last few years. for myself, I was having an issue getting my hands on split board products that I wanted to look at and stuff. So the idea to kind of create a shop just kind of came out of the necessity of looking for equipment that I was unable to put my hands on locally. And everything just kind of snowballed from there, and started bringing in split boards from different manufacturers, mostly focused on one brand, Cardiff Snowcraft, make a really high quality, high end split board. And for people who don't know, a split board is basically a snowboard that you split down the middle lengthways, and you can turn your snowboard into a set of skis for climbing up the hill. You take the bindings off the board and you basically almost turn them into what you would call like cross-country ski kind of style. And you put climbing skins on the bottom of the board, and it allows you to climb what we call skin to the top of the hill without having to carry the board on your back. And it's a great way to get out into the alpine and to explore new areas that you otherwise probably wouldn't be able to get to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to go deeper into that. But first, I don't know if you've got like any handy close by where you're at right now, but can you explain a little bit more about skins? Because the first time I saw them, I felt like it was magic. You just put these little pieces of material on your skis, and all of a sudden they only move in one direction.
That's in half mode. So right now it's halfway between. Normally a snowboard looks like this. I don't know if you guys can see this. Normally your board's together like this, but your split board comes apart in the middle, and you got two skis, and then you put your bindings on like so. And here's the climbing skins. The climbing skins are basically like a one-way carpet. So the pill all goes in one direction. It's really smooth and that way, but when we go this way, it's like snake skin. It's got a lot of grip. And these have been in storage for a while. Still has to stick on it. And the skins just stick to the bottom of the board. This isn't the right skin for the board, but, and the skin just sticks to the bottom like that. And the glue doesn't stick to the bottom of the board, and then you just walk up. It's all in one direction. You get to the top, take the skins off, and put the board back in snowboard mode, and then you can ride back down the hill.
Crazy, yeah. Even to touch those, it feels a little bit like a cat's tongue, right? And to me, it still blows my mind that little bit of friction is enough to allow the ski to glide up, no problem, but prevent it from going backwards. It is actually magic, but I guess it's something that you need to try to understand that sensation. Going back to something you touched on, to me, this seems like probably one of the best ways to explore mountain regions in the wintertime, right? And have a lot of fun doing it. What types of areas now up around where you live would you take somebody if they wanted to go split boarding or backcountry skiing for a day? How would that normally look?
Yeah, a typical day in the backcountry here is it's a pretty unique experience. We've got such a variety of terrain available just in this area. Everything from chill glade skiing all the way up to extreme couloirs and the high alpine of the tablelands. Really, there's an option here for every level of skier and snowboarder available. And really at the end of the day, it comes down to the weather being the biggest factor of where you're going to go, and then rider ability and avalanche conditions and so forth. So yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, we all know we've got a ski hill in our backyard here that has, I guess, bred some really good riders over the years, and probably you would have cut some teeth on that hill as well. But backcountry skiing seems like both an elevation, like a next level to people's skiing and snowboarding experience. But this also seems like the ultimate kind of way to spend a day where maybe for some, who knows, reason the ski lifts aren't working, or maybe there's like a weather situation over here at the hill that isn't so bad up where you're at. Did you find any uptake in that, like over these past few seasons?
Yes, absolutely. It's a great example on Tuesdays when the hill is closed last season. We had a 2-for-1 kind of special for backcountry touring. So we also rent split boards here as well. So if somebody wanted to come try split boarding, they could come try before they buy, sort of deal. And last year on Tuesday, and we're probably going to do it again this year too. Every Tuesday we had a 2-for-1 special where a couple could come down and try out split boarding and see if they liked it and save a bit of money on the experience. And so
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty clever. And I thought I might have saw, you using snowmobiles in the past. Maybe not. Is that the type of thing that can happen, or is that a future thing for you? Like, if there's lazy people out there who would love the idea of coming down these hills, but not so much the idea of skiing up them, are these the kind of things that could be offered?
Absolutely. So that's one of the other services we provide, and that's sled skiing, where we use snowmobiles like other places use helicopters and snowcats to access the goods. We've got some areas that are what we call hot lap accessible, where I can take people who don't have touring equipment, and you can just use regular downhill equipment, and you can have a full day experience in the backcountry with a snowmobile and driver at your beck and call to basically give you endless powder turns all day long. Take people up and drop them down different lines and pick them up at the bottom and bring them back up. You're riding for 7 or 8 minutes, and the ride up's like a minute and a half because you're on a snowmobile, right? I joke around and say I've got the fastest chairlift on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, dude, that's like, I'm already sold. I'm at like shut up and take my money point right now. I mean, that sounds incredible. And so when people are thinking about this, they can basically, you're available for hire throughout the winter. Maybe not every day, but what's the best thing for somebody to do? Just call you up and say, hey, I want to do this next week, next month, and just make a plan from there?
Yes, absolutely. You can check us out at mantleboardshop.com, and I'm all over Facebook and Instagram as well. Send me a message through those channels. That's probably the best way to get in contact with me. Peak season runs from roughly mid-February all the way up until my last day last year was May 12th. So,
wow. That's a that's a solid ski season. So, man, this sounds really fun. And so, for people who have never tried it before, for people who want to maybe take their skiing to the next level, or maybe they're just good skiers out there who want to be able to explore new parts of our province, seems like a really, really fun pastime. Is there any like age, or age restrictions that you would kind of put in place here? I know there's no real rules to this, but what kind of, when you think about the average skier, I guess, is this something that they would enjoy as well? Or is this just, do you need to be in top physical condition to have fun out here doing this?
It seems like the average age of a backcountry tourer is about 45. So it's definitely not geared towards a young man's sport. It seems to be more for people who I would look at it almost as like the next stage in snowboarding. You take a lot of professionals who have done everything on the hill. They've won all the contests and did all the races and all that stuff. Well, what's next? Next is to go and explore. And they get out to different areas, and the snowmobile and the snowcat, and out west even, for example, the helicopters and things like that can only take you so far. And well, what's beyond that? And so with backcountry touring, especially nowadays, with the advent of the technology, how far the equipment has come, you can go out and have a full day in the backcountry and be 100% comfortable all the time. You're wearing good, 3L layers and base layers. All your equipment is top end. It's come so far now. The equipment is giving intermediate riders the ability to push farther and farther into the backcountry. And yeah, it's pretty exciting. I feel like the sport is definitely growing here. But at the same time, back to age, there are a few companies now who are starting to make children specific split board equipment. So that's exciting to see too. So there's people that you can bring kids as young as 8, 9 years old, as long as they got the core strength to ride. You can get them out enjoying the backcountry as early as possible. Really, right?
Awesome, man. I don't know what else to say. I think you've got all of our audience fully sold on this. I think anybody who's a skier or snowboarder is going to be really intrigued to come out and hook up with you at some point this winter. So I want to thank you really for taking these few minutes to explain this whole thing, because it's, for a lot of people, it's kind of a new concept. And I really appreciate your time. And just in this final moment here, do you want to one more time tell people where they can find you? What's the best way to connect with you online today?
The best way to connect with me is through mantleboardshop.com, and you can reach me there. We're also available on Instagram and Facebook, so you can reach out to our channels through there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ryan. And I'll be up to see you soon. Once the snow packs in Bombay, we'll be connecting. And by the way, I'm going to want the Skidoo ride. And that was Ryan Crocker from Mantle Board Shop up in Grossmoor. We're going to take a quick pause and be right back to bring this episode home. Stay tuned. And that's it for today's episode. I want to make sure that you know the call to action is to go out and get your tickets for the November 24th show at Boomstick Brewing Best Coast Restaurant, to come hang out with me and all the other cool people who are going to be there celebrating Jamie's release with him. And don't forget, November 23rd is the day you'll be able to go on Spotify and Apple and whatever and download Jamie's song, Color of You. And I also want to say a big thanks to Ryan Crocker from Mantle Board Shop for introducing us to backcountry skiing and splitboarding. And I want to encourage you all to go up and at least spend one day up there trying this exciting new sport out. That's it for this week. We'll see you next Tuesday with another episode of West Talk. Have a good night.
If you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.
Today, I helped a senior find transportation to an important medical appointment.
Today, I helped a new mom find virtual programming so she didn't feel so isolated.
Today, I helped someone understand new government supports.
Every day, 211 navigators connect Canadians to critical government and community programs and services.
211. Help starts here.
Come on in, take a seat. Or better yet,
look at this crowd on its feet.
For aggressive D and knockdown threes, athleticism and speed, for Spicy P.
Spicy P, lit it on the big stage.
Yes, this season brings change. Yes, this team has turned the page. But it's still an OG thing, always a Scotty B thing. When you want everything Raptors, nothing but Sportsnet.
These days at your local Legion, we're marching to the beat of a different drum. On a mission to support veterans, to have fun, and to welcome everyone to